if someone as inept as I am can make it, really everyone can. I know after I gave a talk, this woman came up to me and asked a good question. She said, bottom line, Mark. She was an older woman, kind of intense. Bottom line, Mark, can anybody succeed? And I thought for a second, I said, yeah. And she said, well, then why don't more people succeed? Good question. And I thought for a second, I said, well, how many people dare to really even dream in the first place of success? And of those that do, how many really define their success and then make a plan on paper to get there? I did 4 simple things when I was 30, just 4 little steps. On that day, I wrote down my ideal scene on one sheet of paper. And this is exactly what I teach today still. Then I took another sheet of paper and just wrote goals, and I listed all my goals. Then I looked at them, doubts and fears overwhelming me. And then I took another sheet of paper and I wrote my goals as affirmations. To this day, I carry around in my pocket my goals as affirmations. I update them about every 6 months. And then the 4th thing I did for every major goal, over the next few weeks, plans started to emerge. As I was affirming these goals, plans would emerge. And so I would take 1 sheet of paper for each goal. I'd make a 1-page plan. I knew that was all that was necessary. I knew the important thing was getting my subconscious mind to get behind this idea. People keep asking, when I get into all these affirmations, how much should I affirm? How often do I affirm? Well, I'm totally lazy. Days go by, I don't affirm anything. But then if something comes up, if there's a stressful thing that happens, then I'll immediately affirm in an easy and relaxed manner, in a healthy and positive way. I'm now creating whatever it is in this particular situation. You just need to affirm enough so that your subconscious mind gets a hold of it and runs with it. That's the important thing. There's no magic number. If you get the right affirmation, it'll feel really good. And you just say it enough. And I'm convinced the process is your subconscious says yes to every thought. And so you can feel when that subconscious finally gets behind that affirmation. And I think that's the whole process. I think it's as simple as that. The universe says yes to every thought, whatever you choose to call it. You could call it subconscious mind, universe, whatever. It says yes to every thought. So I tell people, I firmly believe, and it's not something I took a leap of faith to believe in. I just have seen it work in my life. Therefore, I believe it. I believe that prayer works, affirmations work, positive thinking works, creative visualization works. All of this stuff works. Everything that every good teacher has taught over the years works. It all absolutely works. Unless we undo it with our next thought. Because unfortunately, limited thinking and even what we could call negative thinking works too. So I'm sure if we dare to affirm, I'm now creating the life of my dreams in an easy and relaxed manner, in a healthy and positive way, the whole universe says yes and starts showing us how. But then if our very next thought is, oh, but it's so hard, so few people succeed, the universe says, yes, it's so hard for you with that thought, yes. I think that's the whole process. So it's being aware of every thought, every moment, really. But the good news is, I used to think, when I wrote a book called A Visionary Life, I used to think you had to be on track, or your thoughts had to be like 50 or 51% of the time had to be focused in the right area. And then I heard this great analogy. A plane, when it flies, is off course over 95% of the time. But the pilot keeps correcting and reaches its destination. When I heard that, I thought, that's the story of my life. Yes, you can be off course 95% of the time, or more maybe. But if you keep that destination in mind, the destination is your goal. I want to be successful doing what I love. That's my goal. Once you set that goal, you've and you make a single page plan. You've charted your course. You get on course. Well, with the very next doubt, fear, moment of frustration, big, huge obstacle that comes in the way, and oh, this is much harder than I thought, or all the little details, oh, there's so many details, and all these things that come up that get you off course. You can be off course most of the time. I think I've been off course most of the time. But if you just keep coming back, if you just remember when you're really overwhelmed and frustrated, just remember that affirmation. I am now creating the life of my dreams in an easy and relaxed manner, in a healthy and positive way. You're back on course. The universe says yes, and you get this whisper in your inner voice to make this phone call, or sit down, revise your plan, or why don't you try this, or this just happened, this new technology was just developed, check this out. Now with the internet, there are such huge new opportunities that were not available when I started. Now you got global distribution from your laptop, where when I started, getting distribution out there and building a whole system was complicated and time-consuming. But we did it. But now there are many, many people that are being tremendously successful without ever having to leave their room, just their laptop. There's so many opportunities. There always are opportunities. There's always a huge amount of opportunities. It's just we don't see them until we really dare to dream and to go for it, to start going for it. Then we get support. The whole process is a great mystery. It's magical. I really think it's fair to say that it is real magic. I've created this out of nothing. I had nothing. How do you create something out of nothing? Well, magic is very simple. The power of our mind is incredible. And when we do visualize something, I visualized this house. As I said before, when you came, we got talking as we looked around the house. That was my only plan of all my goals that never changed. All my other plans, to build a company and even writing books and my music career and all those plans changed a lot and continue to change. The one plan that never changed, I made a plan when I was 30 for real estate. Renting a slum apartment. I wrote, okay, goal, a beautiful big white house on a hill in Marin County that I pay for easily and effortlessly. That was my goal. And I made my plan, and step one was move to Marin County and rent. I knew I needed to get out of the poverty of my area. I was in an area where everyone I knew was a poverty case. So that was step one, move to Marin and rent. Step two, get into a house in Marin County. And I even thought, get the least expensive house in Marin County if necessary. And that's exactly what I did. I was able to, at the time, I was finally ready. I moved to Marin and rented for several years and built my company and kept looking at real estate. And an agent gave me a whole book of real estate listings, and I literally got the cheapest house in Marin County and was able to afford it. Then step three was, after however many years that building appreciates enough, sell it and take it and buy a nice house in a nice area I'd like. That was step two. And then step three was, after however many years it takes to appreciate, take that equity and buy that big white house on the hill, my dream house. And that's exactly what I did. Then once I got it, I realized I don't need it at all. I wandered around in shock. I said, why do I don't need this house. This is way too big. And I guess I needed to prove it to myself that these things actually worked, that kind of visualization actually works for anything you want. So I got way more than I want or need. I years ago learned from creative visualization with Shakti Gawain. Her simple little technique that I love so much, and I do to this day, of just relaxing and imagining something you want. And then just putting a pink bubble around it, as she said, and letting it flow out into the universe and just let go, let go. I did that. For a while on my list, I put, I want a beachfront home in Hawaii too. And then I'd affirm that occasionally on my list and let it go. And then the beachfront properties got so expensive that I finally even said, I don't need that. I rent. I don't need that. And I took it off my list. And then 3-4 years ago, I got this call from a real estate guy I know. He said, Mark, I have a deal on beachfront property you just can't pass up. I have the financing together. You got to see this house. It's blah, blah, blah. We flew there, and I've got my beachfront property. Even after giving up on it, totally giving up on it for several years, suddenly it just fell into my lap. So in its own perfect time, things will happen. If you keep affirming in an easy and relaxed manner, in a healthy and positive way, in its own perfect time, for the highest good of all, these things will happen. That single affirmation has incredible power.